Oh my goodness, aren't you lucky you found the Equity.Guru Investor Roundtable, and we're talking about Skyharbour Resources. And why wouldn't we? Because uranium is on fire. Well, it's not actually on fire, but probably dangerous. Rob Simpson, we've got, wait a minute, who's upstairs with me in the penthouse? TK and DeChano, what's up, living large? Down in the basement, we rented it out to Vishal Vitura, and then way over there, kind of a little bit low rent, but we're glad to have him back. Joseph Morton, we tucked him down there in the corner. He's got some news for us, some big news. But first, Vishal, what's going on with Skyharbour? TSX.V. It's on the venture exchange under SYH.
SYH. And as you said, Rob, uranium is hot. So we'll talk a lot about that today. But Skyharbour, quick little, rundown. They are a uranium explorer. So if you're bullish or, want to go long uranium, definitely consider these guys. Experienced management team. They have big funds, institutional backing like Marin Katusa. And more importantly, they are in the Athabasca Basin. Why is this important? Well, first of all, Canada is a good jurisdiction. So obviously, you don't want to be in AK-47 countries, because I know there's a lot of mining uranium companies in Africa. But not only that, the Athabasca region has great grade uranium. And, I'm excited to read Greg Nolan's report, because he claims that the properties are buyout candidates, which is why Skyharbour has an advantage.
Yes, Greg's article is probably right next door to us here today. Joseph, news as well, other news, I guess, besides the fact that it's burning up right now.
Certainly. We the latest news bulletin released today was that Skyharbour Resources has been flying planes over their East Preston uranium project and bombarding them with enough radiation to make the Incredible Hulk a little concerned. What they're doing is they're actually looking for more or less just anomalies, which they can potentially zero in on and start, landing their machines and drilling, looking for uranium
by using gamma rays. Right?
Doing the gamma rays, yeah.
Gamma rays, firing gamma rays. TK, what does that mean to you? Not the gamma rays, but Skyharbour's efforts.
It basically means people are buying in for the hope that they find something good. And if the price is this good, finding just a small amount means great profits for shareholders. It's also just like Vishal said, Canada is kind of it's a second when it comes to exploration and production of uranium. On the cost side, revenue side, Kazakhstan is a little better because it also has it has plots in some of those places that you mine with gunpoint. So that's a big difference ethically as well. But I wanted to take a look at a list that they have on their investors deck there that shows kind of the comparables of companies in the Athabasca Basin, and just notice the discrepancy between the valuation of some of these companies. Obviously, most of the main difference is coming from the amount of pounds you have asset-wise, and that's where most of the value comes from. But I think there's a persistent discount in Canadian companies, especially if they're in something that's a little more complicated. Compared to the US counterparts that actually produce at a higher cost than here. So for example, NextGen Energy there has $2.8 billion in a market cap, which is the highest. And then we have our Skyharbour, at $53 million. And you can see there's a wide range of valuations between these guys. And this is just the comparables they use. But if you look on the gist of everything, it's pretty diverse, even compared to Australian market caps as well. And I feel right now, with the current price of uranium, investors have now discounted that into their new valuation. And of course, this sky-high price to kind of go through. And I actually don't think it's reached its peak. The only issue is, at what point are we going to reach this peak, and how long is it going to take? Are you going to sell your profits now. If you're an old shareholder, you're going to continue holding. And that's the big question for a lot of people now is it's been going on, the bull trend has been going on for 2 years. It's just become more mainstream recently. And it'll be good to see a company as good as Sky Resources to kind of maintain its costs whilst also extracting as much as it can value from these current prices.
Skyharbour charts, Michelle. That's where the money is.
That's where the money is. And, uranium is where the money's at right now. I want to show you guys this chart here. This is the monthly chart of UXA, or the uranium spot prices. We hit lows of just under $20 per pound. And I know a lot of these guys were not making money at those prices, created this, supply and demand mechanism. And, here we are now. I mean, look at this huge pop in uranium these last few days here. I think my daily chart's still loading, so I'll have to show you the monthly. But what I'm excited about is this level here, which is the $40 level, which is what we call a flip zone, which we tested in 2010 and in 2014 and 2015. And you're going to hear me say those 2 years a lot when we look at, say, Skyharbour and a few other charts. But if uranium can break above $40 per pound, there's a lot of room here. We can fly up to 60 per pound, and uranium plays are going to be hot. Before we look at Skyharbour, let's look at Cameco, who are the big producers here in Canada. As you can see, the last week, just green after green after green, gap up candles, even a green close today, a nice 7% gain on Cameco today. But if we zoom out, this is where things get quite exciting. On Cameco, I'll go to the monthly chart, but we're hitting levels that we have not seen since 2014. So unbelievable. A lot of uranium bulls are out there and have been here for a while, just like the gold bugs, I guess, saying that one day, you're going to see this big spike in uranium. And I guess, this month or, this year is their year. But 2014, and if we look at even, say institutions, they want to play the ETF. Wow, just look at this chart. This is the type of charts that, I just love. And we're seeing highs on the URA, which is the Global X Uranium ETF, which we haven't seen since 2015, 2014 here. So long time coming, and I think a lot of these uranium bulls are getting excited. And just as all commodities, when the commodity moves, generally the juniors and the small caps, they move like the commodity, but on steroids. And that's where a lot of big gains are made. Could be a bit more speculative, right? Because these are usually juniors, they're not making any money, they're sitting on an asset. But when that asset moves, that commodity moves, these things fly. And we've seen Skyharbour just rip in the last week here. I'm talking about a 40% gain. And we broke above 40 cents. We hit this resistance zone around 58 cents. And I'm not too surprised that we have a red candle today, because if I was just a trader, I would be looking to take profits around this zone as well. But I think, if you're bullish on uranium, and if we look at Skyharbour on the longer term charts here, we're hitting levels that, we haven't seen since 2017, even back to 2014. So if we do break above the 60-cent zone, we have a large room here to move that could take us to even the important $1 zone on Skyharbour.
Joseph, when you hear all that and you've got my money to invest, how much of it are you investing tomorrow?
All right.
$5 grand. You got $5 grand. I'm just giving you $5 grand. $5 grand.
Okay. All right. Well, we can talk about uranium prices all we want. I mean, it's awfully nice to know which way that particular aspect of the industry is trending. But we're not talking about investing directly in uranium. We're talking about Skyharbour. Now, for me, we haven't seen any assays yet. We've just flown some planes over it, and attacked the hills with gamma rays. So we know potentially there's some things out there. Now, what I specifically want to know is if there's actually stuff out there. Like, what I want to see are the end of summer assays. When they come in, if it looks like there's a potential strike there, then I'd be willing to maybe throw maybe a couple $100 at it just to see where it goes. And then after a while, when we get verification, yeah, I'll throw more money at it. I'd go up to 20%.
And we're supposed to see, I think, some of those results in probably by the end of September. So back to you, Vishal, in terms of what you're doing with my money.
I'm a bit biased, Rob. I love commodities. I think they're some of the cheapest things out there. You know, when you look at the market, stock markets are high, bonds are high, real estate's high, cryptos are high. I believe commodities are still the cheapest things out there. So I love commodities. I'm one of those guys that thinks uranium has a big demand in the future because, as TK mentioned, it is the CO2-free energy. It technically is the cleanest energy. I've been waiting for that pop in uranium for quite some time. And we're getting it, and I think we're gonna move a bit further. Coming, you know, I'm not gonna say tomorrow, but in the coming months to years. So I like uranium, and I think as like a long-term play, I would put say half your money, 2,500. But what I would do is I would maybe be a bit more strategic. I would wait for a price to pull back a little bit because you know we've had a huge 40% run in like 5 days. So I'd wait for a pullback and then I'd buy that dip on that pullback and hold it for the long term.
TK, final word on my money.
Bill Gates suggests this book on the, what is it called? The history of the
history energy.
Yeah, and it goes through the whole history and how we need energy and stuff like that. And after I read it, I came to the conclusion that I'm a coal bull. So I don't touch any other energy. so I'm not spending any of your money on uranium.
Well,
oh man,
interesting.
What a contrarian!
Wow. All right. Well, we've got everything across the board here. So that just means folks that are watching today's roundtable, which is fresh as a daisy coming off the news, you're gonna have to do a little more research. And of course, the 40% bump and other past performances do not guarantee future results, and neither do we. We're just giving you some education and some background and some thoughts. And boy, today, 3 different opinions and 3 different pieces of advice for me. So there you have it. It is the TSX.V, which means the Venture Exchange in Toronto, and it is the SYH symbol for Skyharbour Resources. Enjoy your uranium, folks, and the gamma rays. And we'll see you next time for TK over yonder and Vishal downstairs and Joseph over there. I'm Rob. We'll see you on the next Equity Guru Investor Roundtable.